The film begins with a nurse arriving at the hospital for her duty. This is Rose, the main lead of the movie. But behind her calm smile hides a broken heart. When she spots a couple, her eyes fill with pain. Because the boy is none other than her ex, now happily with his new girlfriend. Later, we find Rose sitting alone on the rooftop when her friend Sandra joins her. And here we learn the truth. Rose's mother has been seriously ill, and she carries the responsibility of her siblings. As evening falls, Rose heads to the ATM. But outside, a suspicious man begins following her. She checks her balance, only to find it at zero. At that very moment, the stranger attacks, trying to rob her. With nothing valuable to give, Rose resists. But the man turns violent, attempting to sexually assault her. Just before the worst can happen, people arrive and the attacker flees. By now, one thing is clear. Rose is not only trapped in financial crisis, but also drowning in emotional and physical struggles. The question is, what more lies ahead in her painful journey? Now we see Rose at home, where she comes across a job posting on a stay-in private nurse position with a salary of $50,000. At home, Rose lives with her mother, sister, and brother, all of whom depend on her. The next morning, Rose prepares to leave for the new job. But her mother appears worried, because it's a live-in job, and Rose will be staying with a man. Concerned for her daughter's safety, she gives Rose a rosary for protection. As the long journey stretches from night into dawn, Rose finally arrives at her destination. A car pulls up, and out steps a woman who warmly greets her. This is Miss Mabeth, the one assigned to take Rose to her new employer, Mr. Peter. You might be wondering, who is Mr. Peter? Rose has been hired as his caretaker. Mr. Peter is a retired U.S. Navy officer. Mabeth drives Rose to his residence, a massive palace-like estate. Once, this place used to be a resort. But after being betrayed by his manager, the resort was shut down. Still, Mr. Peter chose to remain here, seeking peace in its silence. Mabeth leads Rose to her cottage, which is surprisingly cozy and relaxing. Then, on the way to meet Mr. Peter, Mabeth shares more about his life. His parents passed away overseas, his mother was Filipino, and his father American. Apart from that, he has no family. Mabeth herself once worked at the resort and still owes Mr. Peter a large debt, which is why she looks after him. Mr. Peter, however, suffers from dementia and has severe allergies to beans and seeds. From now on, Rose will be living here. Even though there's no phone signal, no Wi-Fi, and no outside connection, Rose is still excited to stay in such a beautiful place. Mabeth takes Rose to Mr. Peter's room, where he is sleeping. She introduces Rose to him, but after giving her just one cold glance, he turns away and goes back to sleep, showing a hint of arrogance in his nature. Mabeth instructs Rose to feed him on time, help him with bathing, and daily exercise. After this, both women step outside. Since Rose will now be staying alone here with Mr. Peter, Mabeth hands her a gun for protection, warning her to use it if a stranger shows up and she feels threatened. She promises to return every Sunday with supplies, then leaves Rose on her own. Later, Rose arranges her belongings in the cottage. That night, when she steps outside, something unsettling happens. From behind her, a woman-like figure darts past, running on all fours like an animal. Rose quickly turns around, but no one is there. When she goes inside Mr. Peter's house, we once again catch a glimpse. A terrifying woman standing outside the window, staring in. Rose steps back outside to check, but now we see another shadowy woman passing right behind her, unseen by Rose. The place feels haunted. The next morning, Rose begins her routine of caring for Mr. Peter. She helps him to the dining table and serves him breakfast. But when she offers him a glass of water, Mr. Peter angrily throws it away. His facial expressions, his piercing eyes, almost resemble an owl. Trying to stay calm, Rose sits at the table and takes out a small yogurt drink from her pocket. Immediately, Mr. Peter demands it from her. Rose hands over the drink, and in one breath, he gulps down the entire bottle, then asks for more. But this time, Rose makes a deal with him. He'll only get the drink if he finishes his meal first. That night, we find Rose sitting in the garden, taking drugs, when suddenly, she hears the splash of someone jumping into the swimming pool. And yes, we see it too. Startled, Rose turns her head, and inside the pool, a terrifying woman appears. As she freezes in shock, another ghostly figure, far more horrifying, emerges right in front of her and vanishes instantly. Terrified, Rose rushes back inside, convincing herself it's just the drugs playing tricks on her mind. But suddenly the door begins banging violently. When she tries to peek through the glass window, the ghostly woman slams her face against it, staring directly at her. Summoning her courage, Rose slowly opens the door, only to find another ghastly woman standing right outside. Rose screams and quickly slams the door shut. The next morning, shaken by the experience, Rose throws away her pack of drugs into the plants, the same pack her friend Sandra had given her. Soon after, Rose goes to check on Mr. Peter, but his bed is empty. As she searches the room nervously, Mr. Peter suddenly appears right in front of her and startled her. Could Mr. Peter himself be a ghost? Later, she helps him get ready, serves him coffee, and they begin talking. Rose shares her love for this beautiful place, telling him how her mother was deeply passionate about plants. In fact, she knew so much about them that she even named all her children after flowers: Rose, Daisy, and Fern. But peace never lasts long. That evening, Rose takes a shower when she suddenly senses someone standing behind the curtain. Slowly, she pulls it aside, but there's no one there. After finishing her shower, she steps out, only to find her foot pressing onto a sticky substance on the floor. She notices strange, wet footprints leading outside. Curious, she follows them out of the house, where a ghostly woman suddenly appears in front of her, wearing a nurse's uniform. The ghost charges at Rose and bites her neck, but in the next second, Rose jolts awake. It was just a nightmare. Rose wakes up and heads to Mr. Peter, who is sitting at the dining table, lost in deep conversation. But strangely, it seems like he's talking to someone named Anne. When Rose serves him a meal, he even calls her Anne, which leaves Rose slightly confused. Soon, she notices that the yogurt drink from the fridge is missing. During their talk, Mr. Peter suddenly begins asking Rose about her love life. But for her, every past relationship has only been painful and full of bad experiences. Here, we also discover who Anne really was. She was Mr. Peter's former nurse, the one he was deeply attached to. Many other nurses came and went, but Mr. Peter kept holding on to their memories, freezing them in his mind. Later, when Rose steps outside, she finds an empty yogurt drink bottle lying on the ground. Did Mr. Peter come out here last night? Rose turns to go back, but in the distance, we spot a boy standing silently. A new danger enters the picture. That night, as Rose prepares Mr. Peter for bed, he points toward the cupboard, asking her to bring down some photo albums. Climbing up on a stool, Rose retrieves the albums, but in the process, she also spots a stash of money hidden inside. She doesn't touch it, instead bringing the albums straight to him. Inside are photos from Mr. Peter's Navy days, a few of his mother, and many of Owl's. Surprised, Rose asks about them. Mr. Peter explains that his mother always told him he was weak, that he could never be strong. But he wanted to prove otherwise. To him, owls symbolized strength and wisdom. That's why he became obsessed with them. He even mimics owl sounds. Even Rose called him Mr. Owl. Later, after returning to her cottage, Rose takes a shower. When she steps out, she notices there are no wet footprints on the carpet this time. Lost in thought, she continues forward, until outside the glass window, she suddenly sees it, a ghostly nurse in a pink uniform. But when she quickly turns around, no one is there. Now suspicious, Rose grabs the gun and steps outside, scanning her surroundings carefully. Everything seems quiet, until suddenly, that same ghost nurse found running from behind, screaming. Back in her cottage, Rose takes the protective cross and the seeds her mother gave her, placing them safely in her pocket. She lies on her bed, scrolling through family pictures on her phone, but then comes across an old video of her ex. The painful memories leave her deeply hurt. Suddenly, she senses a strange presence in the room. Nervously, she peeks over the side of the bed, and to her horror, a male hand reaches out from underneath. Terrified, Rose, holding a gun, rushes straight to Mr. Peter's room, breathlessly telling him that a stranger has already entered the house. Panicking, she quickly locks the windows and doors and pulls the curtains shut. Mr. Peter looks at her with surprise, but he calmly drifts back to sleep. The next morning, Rose peers outside through the window, then wakes Mr. Peter and tells him that she's heading to the highway to find help. But just as she steps out of the house, we spot someone moving past the window from outside. Gripping her gun tightly, Rose starts running, but the stranger notices and chases after her. In fear, she runs faster, turning back to fire a shot, but the man overpowers her. An intense struggle breaks out, ending with Rose losing consciousness. When she wakes up, she finds herself tied to a chair in a strange room. Sitting in front of her is the same young man. As Rose regains consciousness, she tries to fight him off. But instead of harming her, the stranger desperately tries to explain. He never meant to hurt her. He was only here searching for his missing girlfriend. And then comes the shocking reveal. His girlfriend was none other than Anne, the very last nurse who worked for Mr. Peter. The girl was in contact with Maybeth before vanishing, and this young man has been searching for her ever since. His only hope was that Rose might know something about Anne's disappearance. The boy is still sharing his worries when suddenly Mr. Peter strikes his head, knocking him unconscious. Moments later, we see Rose asleep. She wakes up, touching her lips. Earlier they were bleeding, but now there's no trace. Was the kidnapping just a dream? No. Because as she turns to her side, a horrifying sight freezes her in terror, the burned-faced ghost woman lying right beside her. Rose screams and jolts awake again, only to find she's still on the chair. But now, the boy is tied up nearby, while across from them, Mr. Peter is dozing in a chair. Rose rushes to the boy, who reveals a terrifying truth. He once found Anne's phone abandoned in the woods. He urges Rose to check her pocket. When she does, a photo shows the same girl who has been haunting Rose all along. The woman at the window, the ghost in her nightmares. It was Anne. She's no longer alive. She's become a restless ghost. Shaken, Rose scrambles to find her gun. But Mr. Peter suddenly wakes, holding it in his hand. He already took it. He points it at her, stopping her in her tracks. Slowly, he steps forward, threatening both Rose and the boy. And then he begins talking about Anne. He admits he loved playing with her. A flashback unfolds. Mr. Peter sipping coffee, an owl mask resting on the table beside him. Then he picks up a knife. Nearby, Anne crawls on the floor, badly wounded. Mr. Peter grabs her by the hair, lifts her up, and with cold brutality slits her throat. We then see him fully transformed, wearing the owl mask and a black gown. The terrifying monster owl wasn't a myth. It was Mr. Peter all along. He didn't just kill Anne. One by one, he murdered every nurse who ever came to take care of him, each death more savage than the last. And now, Rose is his next prey. The question is, will Rose survive this monster, or will she become the latest victim of Mr. Peter, the owl killer? Rose tries once again to escape, but fails. Now Mr. Peter begins to reveal his darkest secret. He says he wasn't born a monster. He was made into one by his own mother. A flashback begins. We see a young boy with a heavy chain locked around his neck like an animal. This boy is Peter. His mother throws food at him, never showing affection, treating him like an animal. When she comes close, it's only to beat him. All this cruelty, simply because he was weak, not strong enough. It is a brutal act of child abuse, so inhuman no mother should ever be capable of such horror. But one day, everything changes. Peter reads a book. Mr. Owl. A twisted sense of courage sparks inside him. He stares at a broken plate nearby, the sharp edge glinting. And when his mother approaches again to torment him, he lashes out. With a sudden burst of rage, Peter drives the shard of glass into her throat. His first kill was his own mother. The very woman who created the monster was also its first victim. From that day, Peter's obsession with enslaving and destroying women only grew stronger. Back to the present. Anne's boyfriend dares to speak in her defense. So Mr. Peter shoots him dead. Rose, terrified, seizes the chance and runs. Mr. Peter heads into his room, where a wardrobe filled with weapons and the owl mask. Moments later, he takes his car and hunts Rose down, chasing her deep into the woods. Rose hides in the shadows. Peter emerges transformed, mask on, black gown, and eerie owl lenses gleaming in the dark. He headed toward her hiding spot and strikes her down. The next scene opens inside the same dark hall where Anne's boyfriend was murdered. Rose is chained and her body bound with ropes. When Peter steps close, she spits in his face. Then he calmly slices her cheek with a knife. Rose screams in agony as blood runs down her face. Morning arrives. Peter drags her inside the house and throws her to the floor. He aims a gun at her head, but instead of killing her, he orders her to prepare breakfast. Broken and bleeding, Rose struggles to her feet. She serves him well, even serving him a yogurt drink. Peter quickly eats his meal as he finds a unique taste. Rose lies collapsed on the floor, weak but watching. After finishing, Peter finally rises, gun in hand, ready to end her life. But suddenly, he begins coughing violently. The gun slips from his hand. Staggering, he collapses onto the sofa, clutching his throat. Rose rises, hope flickering in her eyes. She seizes the fallen gun. That's when Rose reveals it. She had told him before that her mother had deep knowledge of plants. In a flashback, we see her quietly mixing seeds from her mother's protective rosary into his meal, which is poison. Now, as Peter writhes, Rose shoves the remaining rosary pieces into his mouth. As death rushed through his veins, he crawls, desperate, trying to reach the gun, but Rose is faster. She points the weapon at him, who finally collapses. Just as Rose prepares to pull the trigger, the front gate creaks open on its own. There stands Anne's ghost, who lifts a hand, pointing Rose toward the way out. Rose follows the ghost outside the house, when suddenly another nurse's spirit appears. It points toward the greenery and then vanishes. Curious, Rose walks closer and discovers a hidden door. As she opens it and steps inside, she is stunned. Inside are freezer boxes filled with the frozen bodies of all the victims. Just as Mr. Peter had once said that his nurses leave him, but he froze them. The truth was far darker. He murdered them and froze their corpses. Rose returns to the house and enters Peter's room to collect the money. While searching, she finds a file containing Peter's past cases and a tablet with her own CCTV footage saved on it. But the real twist comes when she finds an old photograph of Mr. and Mrs. Coleman. Shockingly, they are none other than Mr. Peter and Miss Mabeth. This means Mabeth was his wife all along, his partner in every crime, luring girls to Peter by hiding her true identity. Moments later, Miss Mabeth happily enters the house. She sees Peter lying on the floor and assumes he has enjoyed himself. But as she steps forward, her death is already waiting for her, Rose, standing with a gun in her hand. Mabeth desperately tries to explain, but Rose shoots her without mercy. In the next scene, Rose is seen hospitalized. The cops arrive to inform her that, based on the evidence she provided, they found the frozen bodies of all the victims in the freezers, including Mabeth's corpse, and confirmed Peter's past crimes. But the shocking part is, Peter's body was never found anywhere in the resort. Rose is left in complete shock. And why not? The danger isn't truly over yet. The film ends here, leaving behind a chilling mystery. Where did Mr. Peter go? Did he survive? Or is he out there, hunting for his next victim? So viewers, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to our channel for more exciting updates. Thank you for watching.